Sandy Steinman here, President of Background Checks Express, your one-stop source for accessible, accurate, and affordable background checking. In our last video, we talked about the case of New England Motor Freight, who lost about $870,000 in a court case because of Fair Credit Reporting Act violations, and believe me, there's a lot more cases like that out there. One of the folks who's following our video series sent me a question, and he said, supposing I have two finalists for his position. I do background checks on both of them, and they both have clean records. I make a decision to hire one of them because I thought he was a better candidate. Do I still have to send adverse notices, both pre and final, to the other candidate, even though my decision not to hire him had nothing to do with his background check results? That's a great question, and the answer is, drum roll please, it depends. Theoretically, because the background check played no part in the decision, you can bypass the adverse notices. The whole purpose of the pre-adverse notice and the final notice is to give the applicant an opportunity to deal with any report that he thinks is incorrect. So as a result, if even a minute portion of the decision not to hire had to do with the report, the adverse notices should be sent. But let's assume that you do not send the adverse notices because the report played no part whatsoever in the employment decision. Here's the complications that could arise. We have an issue of proof. The rejected applicant may claim that the employer's argument was just baloney. And this is especially important if the rejected applicant is part of a protected class and claims that the decision not to hire was discrimination and the whole, no, the background check was not a problem, was just a smokescreen. The chances are a good plaintiff's attorney would grab onto the fact there was no adverse notice sent and sue on the basis of a Fair Credit Reporting Act violation. You can also have to deal with the issue of what is adverse. For example, let's say a credit report was run, and even though there's no late payments or charge-offs, there's a job title that's different from the one the applicant put on his application. The applicant's attorney can claim that the applicant was put in an unfair position because he was not given the chance to correct bad information. And what does that sound I hear? Oh, it's the sound of money. Your money flying out the window. You know, we're talking about risk management, and for my money, sending out adverse notices, regardless of whether the report played any part in the hiring decision, is quick and painless. Background Checks Express provides these notices to our clients and advises them to use them in every case. It just makes sense. Next week, we'll take a look at some other FCRA provisions, and then we'll move into the subject of pre-employment screening in general. If you're an employer, I hope you'll follow this series of videos, because what you learn here could well keep you out of court, and that's our mission. If you have any questions about the Fair Credit Reporting Act in general, or want to learn how we can ensure that your background checking is FCRA compliant, just feel free to call me at 844-SCREEN-NOW. That's 844-727-3366. In the meanwhile, be safe, hire safe, and I'll see you in the next video.